We're back at the table to talk about the hottest comic books in the world, and you know we got Gem Mint from Gem Mint Collectibles.
That's right, so make sure you hit that like, subscribe to the channel with that little notification bell, and after the Echo trailer, is it any surprise that number 10 on the list is Amazing Spider-Man 50, the first appearance of Kingpin?
The 4-0 is up 24%, the 5-0 is up 1%, and the 6-0 is up 19%. This book hit heights at a 9.6 of $66,000 back in 2021. This past June, we saw a sale of it down 50%, selling for $33,000. So yes, in high grades, the book is down, but in the more realistic grades that members can afford, the book is holding strong. And after the Echo trailer, I understand why. We see so much Kingpin. It looks so dark and gritty.
Well, if anybody subscribed to my channel, you would have seen that I did a reaction to it, and I had super low expectations. I didn't realize how Kingpin heavy this trailer was going to be and how violent.
What did you think about the Echo trailer? Let me know in the comment section below. Kingpin, what'd you think about Daredevil? While we chat about my favorite superhero anything that is happening on the screen at the list at number 9, The Boys number 1, the first appearance of A-Train, the first appearance of Huey, the first appearance of Billy Butcher.
The CGC 9.4 is up 34% over its 12-month average, the 9.6 is up 23%, and the 9.8 just clocked in at $429, 15% above average.
The delays were real with both Gen V and Boys Season 4, which is coming out next year, and I don't care. The anticipation is worth it because this is the best superhero show that's on television. We have Gen V debuting to some crazy good ratings, and it's well-deserved. My favorite superhero show that is coming out, the fact that the spinoff from the main series was so good shows how much more they can do in this universe.
Dude, I fucking loved Gen V. It was like Gen Z with Compound V injected into their veins. It's everything that an X-Men live-action adaptation wants to be. It feels like it's in the same universe as The Boys, as it should, and you even get those cameos.
I didn't even know that Anthony Starr, Homelander, does his own stunts, and there's a video of him being hoisted up into the air, freaking out in a very non-Homelander style.
F*** off. Oh, f*** off. Ah, f*** my life. F*** this. F*** off.
No, not this high. He normally just lands.
Holy Okay, please, Iska.
Did you watch Gen V? Let me know in the comment section below. And this weekend on ComicTom101.store, between Friday and the end of Monday, we are doing a Black Friday sale, 25% off of anything that you want outside of original art and the mystery mail call. And we have 3 different drops that are happening on Friday. We have Boys number 1 by Johnny Desjardins, foil limited to 100. We have Boys number 2, Ben Templesmith, Action Comics, Neil Adam homage, limited to 100, also in foil. And I have a G.I. Joe set, trade foil set for only $25. A tribute and homage to G.I. Joe 21, the silent issue.
Amazing art by Carson Thorne, a set limited to just 500, and G.I. Joe is going to be a banger. Moving on to number 8 on the list, How the Mighty Have Fallen. We have the first appearance of Dazzler in Uncanny X-Men 130.
This book has been hovering between the number 2 or number 1 slot for over a month. Let's talk about our hypothesis, why it's dropped so far, but not before I tell you about the newsstand. 7.5 to 9.0, all being up between 20 and 55% when you compare it to the recent 12-month average.
The direct market 9.2 is up 50%, the newsstand 9.6 is up 4%, and then the direct market 9.8 selling for $1,950, 262% above average.
During the writers-actors strike, Deadpool was really the only updates we were getting, so a lot of news, rumors, push books on our list. Well, now that those strikes are over, we're seeing a flood of information hit the mainstream. Fantastic forecasting, Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. Sounds good to me. What do you think, Jem?
I feel like the community is torn on this issue. A lot of people love Pedro Pascal, but not everybody wants to see him as Reed. I mean, I liked him as Joel in The Last of Us. He's a great Mandalorian. I don't really know that I see him as Reed Richards, though.
Marvel's planned big bad, being Kang has been heavily discussed over the last month. Many people starting to get worried about their Avengers 8, knowing that Marvel may be needing to change direction, and it looks like the mainstream picked that up this week.
And then on the DC side of things, we're getting a ton of Superman Legacy news. We've got Jimmy Olsen casting, Lex Luthor.
And news that we've been discussing for months now, that Marvel may actually introduce Silver Surfer as either a female version or just a completely different Herald, but going a female route first, has got the community riled up this week more than they have since the books have been spiking. And if you want to keep up on this rapidly moving marketplace with us, the best way to do it is to just download Key Collector Comics. This is where you get all the alerts as any rumor starts to circulate and comic buyers start spending. The app lets you know what's up.
Use code TOM101 for a free 2-week subscription on the app. As we move on to number 7, we got ASM 361, the first appearance of Carnage.
The video games, light spoilers here, features Carnage and clearly is going to be set up for a future appearance. We have some stuff happening in the comics that's exciting, but nothing really pushing spec up on a book that everyone wants and everyone loves. And I'm seeing prices here look so affordable that I can't help but think that members are just being reminded about the character, going online and seeing the prices and seeing a 9.8 hit around $300 going, ASM 361 is a great book I may want to buy too.
Yeah, I feel like collectors just look for any excuse to pick up this book, and the fact that Carnage may have life in the future Insomniac Spider-Man games makes it more of a safe bet. The newsstand 6.5 is up 20%. The direct market 8.5 is up 3%. The newsstand 9.2 just sold for $149, which is 28% above average.
Both 9.4 and 9.6 direct market copies are going for an increase of 8% this last week. The newsstand 9.6 just sold for $264. That's up 38%. And we saw a 9.8 sell for $430. That is up 8%, but the last sale clocked in, as mentioned, at $300. When you can see a 9.6 go for $175 in this market, knowing that it hit $800 in 2021, this book just seems primed to own, because I think together collectors are deciding that this right here is so close to what could be the floor that it's realistic pricing and it's a safe investment.
And some more light spoilers on the Spider-Man 2 game on PS5. They also did set up Chameleon and the Green Goblin for future appearances, so something to consider.
Why is this comic book so hot? At the list at number 6, Avengers 57. First appearance of the Vision, but the second appearance of Ultron. 4 O's up 1%, 5.5 up 9%, 8.5 selling for $1,000, where you could have gotten a 9.0 at certain parts of the year for that price, up 16%. The 9.0 is selling for $1,300, up 4%, and the 9.2 is up 37%, selling for $22.66.
We've seen this book on the list for the last couple of weeks, and we know that it's anticipation on what's going to happen with Vision. We got that teaser at the end of WandaVision, and we haven't seen it come to fruition yet. But let's take a look at the MCU effect on this book with a CGC 6.0, right at that mid-grade.
Between 2005 and 2011, this book could have been purchased in that grade for under $100. And then, between 2012 and 2013, this is when the first Avengers movie premiered. It started to sell between $125 and $175. It started creeping up between 2014 and 2020. This is in Age of Ultron era, and that's when it started to sell between $200 and $350.
When Vision lifted Mjolnir, it was so good. Moving on to 2021, when WandaVision aired, we saw the book sell between $320 and $685, with the average being just shy of about $500.
This is such a great market indicator about how the MCU has affected a key comic book, because in 2022, we're now looking at 6 O's drop, selling between $400, sometimes less, and $450.
Actually, not that bad of a drop, only about $50 from that average in this grade, and we have no new news regarding Vision. So imagine what happens when we do see the White Vision return to the MCU.
This book is too damn iconic to drop that much, and I think that's why members are starting to get excited about this book now more than ever. And at the list at number 5, more of the same, just with a little more mutton chops. We have Wolverine number 1, Frank Miller, first solo Wolverine spiking. And this is the 26th time we've discussed this book on the Hot 10 in 2023. One of the hottest books in the world, clearly.
And whenever Deadpool 3 news is slow, all it takes is a selfie from Hugh Jackman over on Instagram showing that old man Logan beard to get collectors excited again. The newsstand 7.5 up 40%. The direct market 9.0 is up 3%. The 9.2 is up 6%. The 9.4 is up 2%, and then the 9.6 selling for $280 is up 5% over its 12-month average.
The 9.8 was selling for under $700 most of this year, and we just saw one at a high end go for $839, and that's an increase of 24%, yes? But 3 different copies outsold the 12-month average this week.
And then let's look at that newsstand 9.8, maintaining its 12-month average, selling for $1,300.
The post was accompanied by this caption: "Sporting the chops can only mean one thing." Get ready for Logan, comic fam, while we chat about number 4 on the list with Captain Marvel number 1. Really?
And even though the Marvels clocked in at the worst performing MCU movie at the box office, out of all 33 movies, we still have Captain Marvel spec on the list. Captain Marvel issue number 1 is number 4 on the list, and it's the second appearance of Carol Danvers, the third appearance of Captain Marvel, and the second appearance of Ronan the Accuser.
The 4.5 is up 22%, the 6.0 12%, 6.5 1%, 7.5 23%, and the 8.5 you can get for $246, an increase of 2%. This book is super affordable. It's square bound. It's an awesome key book. And this right here should excite you. When was the last time you were able to watch a movie despite community reaction, or a show on the screen, or even rumors, check the pricing of books and feel this safe about it? When a hot book is this high on the list, it has typically been reserved for record-breaking sales in certain parts of the last 5 years. And now it's because so many members are looking at prices collectively and saying, it's so low, it seems like a safe bet.
I think we're seeing a lot of just-in-case speculation going on here, and the same thing with number 3 on the list. We've got Amazing Spider-Man 210, the first appearance of Madam Web.
The 8.5 is up 63%, 9.2, 76%, 9.4, 15%, 9.6 up 20%. It's selling for $300 at that grade, and you can get a 9.8 for $975, and that's an increase of 18%. And you heard that right. You can get a 9.8 for the price of what a 9.6 went for a year ago.
We even have a record-breaking sale in a CGC 5.5 where it sold for $80 during the comic boom of 2021, up 13%, now selling for $90.
The book is up in copies sold 871% since the Madam Web trailer. And this right here proves what we were talking about. Despite the general audience disliking this atrocious trailer, this book is up massively because it's so damn cheap.
Yeah, I did a reaction to this trailer as well, and I was not digging it. I was never on board with all of these Sony Spider-Man movies that lacked Spider-Man. It felt very CW. People like Dakota Johnson, but they didn't see her as a Madam Web superhero. Madam Web shouldn't be a superhero to begin with.
You know the trailer's bad when you wish the main protagonist was actually blind and paralyzed, and I can't believe I just said that. Let's move on. Next on the list is number 2, Star Wars number 1 from 1977.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to see this legacy book show up on the list at number 2 when we're having all of these newer books, newer characters, new speculation, but still, Star Wars number 1 is always going to be that coveted key issue regardless of what's going on in outside media. And look at all these sales. 7.0 is up 3%, 7.5 is up 28%, 8.0 sold for $293, that's up 14%. The 8.5 is up 29%, and I could keep going on. Tom, can you help me out?
The 9.0 is up 3%, 9.2 35%, 9.4 is up 13%, and the 9.6 is up 3%, but you can still get a 9.6 of Star Wars number 1 for under $1,000.
This was probably the best week ever to pick up a copy of Star Wars 1. We were literally in between seasons. Nothing new has been announced, except for just recently, Dave Filoni has accepted the position of Chief Creative Officer over at Lucasfilms.
All these sales took place prior to that news, so I'm excited to see where Star Wars ends up next week, especially considering that so many people are buying this book now, despite what's happening on the big screen, considering we are in this lull period as it pertains to new Star Wars content. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. There are 18 new 9.8s added to the census in the last month, 137 across all grades. I think this book is looking better by the day. Hit the like and subscribe. We're here every single week. We need your support. Hitting that like button goes a really long way for us while we chat about the number 1 hottest book in the world.
This is the first time ever that this book has made the Hot 10, and it's MCU post-credit scene speculation. We've got Uncanny X-Men 164, the first appearance of Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers as Binary.
Binary appearing at the end of the Marvels movie. We get a reprisal of the Beast from the Fox days. We've already seen Patrick Stewart. We know Logan is inbound. I'm excited, but the inevitable is going to be a full recasting of our mutants, and I feel like this is just delaying it, and I don't think the comic fam is on board. What do you think, Jem?
Yeah, I don't think the majority of the fan base is on board with this narrative either, but I think this may be another case of playing it safe speculation. The CGC 7.5 sold for $41, but that's 71% above average. The newsstand 8.5 selling for $50 for a 16% increase. And then we got a slew of sales. The direct market 9.0 up 25%. The 9.2 is up 14%. The 9.4 is up 53%.
The 9.6 is up 30%, and 5 different copies outsold that 12-month average, and it didn't stop there. The 9.8 is selling for $255. That's an increase of 31%, and 8 different copies outsold that 12-month average. This book hit heights of around $500 in 2021. It's down by half, but this slew of sales, despite the critics and the box office, indicates that collectors are looking at this as a affordable spec. And I love seeing that the hottest book in the world is one that you can go hunt for and feel good about it.
Yeah, and check out the record-breaking sales. The newsstand 9.0 last sold for $59 in 2022. Well, it's up 27% now, selling for just $75. The newsstand 9.2 had a record of $68 from May of this year, and that's up 16%, selling for $79. The newsstand 9.6 went from $110 in June to now $140 for an increase of 27%. But we do have a banger sale for the Canadian price variant in a 9.8, which sold for $670 in 2021, the peak of the comic boom, for an 8% increase, an all-time new record breaker of $725.
Talk about attainable, awesome keys spiking despite the worst release of a Marvel movie to date. What do you think about this in the comment section below? We got record breakers that we just hit them with in November 2023. What's going on? And as always,
geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
Enough said.
He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.